Turn to the book of Matthew, chapter 12. Gospel of Matthew, New Testament, first book of the New Testament. Matthew chapter 12. Matthew 12. Start to read at verse 38. Jesus is speaking to the scribes and Pharisees in Galilee. It says, Then some of the scribes and Pharisees answered, saying, Teacher, we want to see a sign from you. You're talking like you're some big shot, man. Give us a sign. Show us a sign. We want to see it. He answered and said to them, An evil and adulterous generation seeks after a sign, and no sign will be given to it except the sign of the prophet Jonah. For as Jonah was 3 days and 3 nights in the belly of the great fish, so will the Son of Man be 3 days and 3 nights in the heart of the earth. The men of Nineveh will rise up in judgment with this generation and condemn it, because they repented at the preaching of Jonah, and indeed a greater than Jonah is here. And the queen of the south will rise up in the judgment with this generation and condemn it. For she came from the ends of the earth to hear the wisdom of Solomon, and indeed a greater than Solomon is here. Now Jesus just put it right back into their face there. Hey, show us a sign. I'm not giving you a sign. The only sign you're getting is the fact that the Son of Man will be crucified, died, buried, and will rise again on the third day. That's your sign. And I'll tell you the truth, that non-Jews will rise up at the judgment and they're going to point their finger at you and condemn you righteously because they repented and changed because of the preaching of Jonah or of Solomon. And there's someone greater than either one of those here. And you're asking me to prove myself. And we go on. When an unclean spirit goes out of a man, he goes through dry places seeking rest. He finds none. And then he says, I will return to my house from which I came. And when he comes, he finds it empty, swept, put in order. And then he goes and takes with him 7 other spirits more wicked than himself, and they enter and dwell there. And the last state of that man is worse than the first. So shall it also be with this wicked generation. Huh? Is he saying that Israel's going to become demon-possessed 7 times over? I don't think so. I think Jesus is giving us a principle here that goes far beyond demon possession. Here's a man who is delivered from an evil influence in his life. A demon or just an evil influence in his life. And he's delivered and he sweeps it clean. Man, his house is in order. It's great. I got to tell you, this happened to me. When I was 18 years old, a buddy of mine shared Christ with me. And I prayed with him one night. Said, yeah, I'll commit my life to Christ. I had no clue what I was doing. But I wanted to get off the drugs. I wanted to see my life changed like his had. So I prayed a prayer. Man, I swept things clean. I quit smoking. I quit dropping. I quit snorting. I quit doing all that stuff. I'm going to be a Christian now. I'm going to be a Christian now. Lasted about 5 weeks. And when I look back now on the years after that return to my old lifestyle, it was about 4 years from that time until I got down on my knees and got saved, genuinely. When I look back on that now, I see my whole life had changed. My life was a lot worse. I didn't realize it when I was in the midst of it. But my drug taking started to really entertain death, knowingly. And I could see ways where I look back now over those 4 years and go, why am I still alive? How can you drive through the city in a car and wake up behind the wheel, not knowing where you're going, where you are, just that you're in a car driving, having no clue? That's the kind of stupidity I was doing. Pick up somebody hitchhiking. Hey, you got anything on you? Yeah, I got a red pill, and I got a blue pill, and I got a green pill. Great, man, give it to me. Great. Not even asking what they are. Wake up a day and a half later, not knowing anything that had happened in the last day and a half. That's the kind of stuff I was doing. And I was focused and, what's the word? Just fully thinking about death over and over. Because I believe I was in this situation. There were 7 worse that had come to see me. Was I demon possessed? I don't think so. Because of the testimony of the day that I got saved. And that's a long story I won't tell now. But were there multiple evil influences compared to the way it was before then? Absolutely. Absolutely. No doubt. Because what I had done is I'd tried to clean myself up. I'd swept things clean. You want to sweep things clean yourself? Read the criteria. It's found in Matthew 5. You don't have to turn there now. You're familiar with it. Jesus said, the commandment says that you should not murder. I tell you that when you are angry with your brother and you call him a fool, you've committed murder. I tell you, the commandment says, do not commit adultery. I tell you, the real standard is, don't even look on a woman or man with lust in your heart. That's the standard to keep. Now, I don't know about you, but I can't keep that standard under my effort. But there is a way. It isn't hopeless. Last passage, book of Romans, chapter 12. About 4 or 5 books to the right from where you are. Romans chapter 12. This is what Paul says. He says, I beseech you, therefore, brethren, by the mercies of God. Now, he's just spent 11 chapters talking about the mercies of God. He says, I beseech you, therefore, brethren, by the mercies of God, that you present your bodies a living sacrifice, holy, acceptable to God, which is your reasonable service. And if this were my translation, I would translate your only reasonable service. And do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind, that you may prove, or you may show, you may demonstrate what is that good and acceptable and perfect will of God. Brothers, sisters, stop flapping your wings. Find your rest in the Lord. And the only way to do that is to climb up on that altar and say, Lord, all of me, not just part, not just this part of my life, not just that part of my life, all of me, all of it I surrender to you. And I will do that which you call me to do and nothing else. I will follow your command and nothing else, knowing that I am human and I will fail. The writer of Psalm 79, I think it is, says it this way: my heart and my flesh will fail, but you are my portion forever. Who am I? Whom have I in heaven but you? And beside you, I desire nothing. My heart and flesh may fail, but you are my portion forever. You see, what we want to do is what Nehemiah did. Poor Nehemiah. Man, I'm going to make this work. I'll go rip their beards out. That's what he did. Can you imagine that? What are you doing, marrying pagan women? Whoa. When I'm holding a little kid, and they grab one and yank it out. I'm like, whoa, that hurts. Nehemiah was trying so hard because he was going in the same cycle. Let's clean it up. Let's follow the law. Let's get things straightened up. But where is God in that? If you may find yourself in that rebuilding, or having finished the rebuilding and going, I'm doing it, man. I'm going to do it. Stop.